So moving on to exercise number 3. This is more like a homework type situation. So you're going to follow along on Edpuzzle. You're going to put the answers in, and then you're going to follow along with the video. So five students at our school have a stomach virus. The number of students infected with the virus triples each day. So we're starting with 5 students. That's our starting number. It's kind of like our A number. The number of students infected with the virus triples. There's our multiply rate. That's like our B number. So fill in the table below for the number of people N that have been infected with the virus after a certain number of days D. Here's our X, here's our Y. So at our time 0, 5 people have been infected. When something triples, it multiplies by 3. So now fill out your table. On day 2, how many people would have the virus? On day 3, how many people? And on day 4, how many people would have the virus? So I get 45 people because I did 15 times 3. 45 times 3 is 135. 135 times 3 is 540. Now for part B, using your table, determine an exponential growth formula. That means write an equation, y equals a times b to the x. Now you have the option. You can use the statistics section of your calculator to have it generate an equation for you, or you can use what we know about exponential functions. So a is our starting number, so that would be 5 students. B is our multiply rate, so we're multiplying by 3. And then our x is in the exponent. So I'm going to change this to our letters we're using, n times 3, and d is the number of days. Last section on this page. Or no, we got one more. Using your formula, how many students will be infected with the stomach virus by day 8? So figure out that number and write it in your Edpuzzle. So I plug an 8 in for D, and then I type this into my calculator, and I get 32,805. 32,805 people in our school would be infected with the stomach bug. Part D, is this answer to Part C reasonable? Explain. So, I guess you could have different opinions, but is it reasonable for almost 33,000 people to have this in our school? No, there aren't that many people in our school. All right, let's move on to the next page. We're going to throw out some garbage. We're specifically going to throw out cell phones, which is a big no-no. You have to recycle them. So number 4, a typical cell phone is 5 ounces. When a cell phone is thrown into the garbage and decomposes over time, half of it is absorbed into the ground each year. So we're starting with 5 ounces. And that, I just made up that number. Half of it is absorbed into the ground each year, which isn't good. Fill in the table below for the ounces of remaining cell phone C after a certain number of years. So X is the number of years, C is how much cell phone is left. So half of it's absorbed, so we're dividing by 2. Fill in your table. And then after 4 years, how much cell phone would be left? Okay, so there's what I've got for my table. I just kept dividing by 2. Using the table, determine a formula. Remember, y equals a times b to the x. You can use your statistics calculator, or we know a is the start number and b is the multiply rate. So if I make my formula, I get y equals start, multiply rate's a half, to the x. The last part, is it last? Nope, 2 more left. Using your formula, how many ounces will be left after 5 years? Time always goes in the x. So we plug in 5 times 1/2 to the 5. When you put that in your calculator, you get 0.15625. That is a teeny tiny bit of cell phone left. Not very much. We won't even talk about the chemicals in the ground, but it's not that much physically. Now, let's think about this. There are 314 million people in the United States. So let's just change this. Let's keep it simple. If each person threw one phone away in their lifetime, how much would be left in 5 years? So we have this 0.15625 ounces. And if we multiply it by 314 million people, how much garbage would there be? So I'm going to go to Delta Math and put that in. So 0.15625 times 314, and with a million you have 6 zeros. So 4906. Hopefully I write this correctly. 4. So now I'm going to put my commas in so I know how to say this. Okay. 49,062,500 ounces. And just because we normally talk in pounds, I'm going to convert that. So you would take this number. I think I can copy and paste. Control copy. We're going to divide it by 16. So about 3 million pounds. Oops. So over on Edpuzzle, it's going to say how many pounds of cell phone would be left? About 3 million pounds.